Hello and welcome to a live episode of From the Pink Seats podcast here on the State of Louisville Podcast Network. I'm producer New Year, same Keith. With me, Jacob Lane, Matt McGavick, Vince Lococo, and fellas, we play ball today.
Got some ball. Let's go.
This is great.
I need it.
The gang's all here for a live show. I mean, this is wonderful. It doesn't get better.
Yeah, man. This is the way to bring in the new year right here. Like, I wouldn't want to do it with any pause. I wouldn't want to bring in the new year with any three other gentlemen besides you.
We just started the show. We're already
Just started the live show.
Oh, man. Well, that's great. But we got football, as Keith said, and that's extremely exciting. That's what the people are getting geared up for. I know it's kind of been this lull, right? Waiting for the game and playing later than what Louisville has played over the last year or so. But big game here today. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. Make sure you put some respect on that name right there. The full name every time you say it. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. It's going to be a good game. Louisville going up against a Big Ten team that has been up and down, and we're going to get into the meat of all of this. We've kind of waited, right? I know we've waited until literally this. See, this is when I thrive, fellas. Like, the little bit about me, I'm the king of procrastination. I do so well under pressure that I wait until the last minute. And so here we are. We're about to produce an A+ show today at the very last minute, at the buzzer, at not only of the year, but then leading up to the football game. And so we're going to get into a typical show. And typically, the reason why, Keith, I'm going to hand this back over to you. I'm not here for this show typically. This is my first game preview of the entire season outside of the season opener against Austin Peay. So it's been a long time. I'm a little rusty. But Keith, you're gonna take us through the show. We've got a lot of good stuff to get into, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? We're just chilling out on the shore. You know, over the holiday break, some people like to go out and visit family. We just drift out to sea, and we're just going to go wherever the current takes us today. So
Lazy River. I'm here for it, man.
Exactly. So I know we don't have like a formal imaging for the Matt Stats segment this week. I know, Matt, you recently put out a piece just going over some of the information on Louisville on SI, right? Or SI on Louisville?
Louisville Cardinals on SI. You were close.
Louisville Cardinals on SI. The name changes
there
every 3 weeks. Come on, man. Give me a break. I'm trying.
Oh, I know.
I'm the absentee drunk uncle who's doing his best to try and connect.
Right. Matt, what is it you do, Matt? Tell him what you do, Matt.
you work for ESPN, don't you? No, that's not what
So, Matt, if you'd like, I don't know if you got those queued up at the moment, but yeah, if you want to take us through some of the stats there, we can lead off the show with a little bit of Matt Stats.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have as deep as Matt Stats as I usually do, just because it's been an absolutely batshit insane time of year with basketball season also in full swing. But I mean, the long and short of it is that UW is mainly a defensive forward team. They're 27th in total defense, but also 45th in scoring defense, which isn't as good. And I'll get into why here in a second. Where they really excel is against the pass. They were 5th in passing yards allowed in the FBS. And where I think a key for Louisville is going to be in this game is running the ball. And that's not just because they have 2 stud true freshman running backs. In terms of rushing yards allowed, Washington gave up 158.1 per year, which is 83rd. And their offensive line is poo-poo, to put it mildly. They ranked 132nd out of 134 FBS teams in terms of tackles for loss per game. And they were 90th in sack rate. So they do not provide their quarterback protection. They do not provide a bunch of holes, period. So, and something else to note, and this was actually broken yesterday on the offensive side of the ball for Washington. I was fully prepared for Will Rogers to start this game, the SEC's single season leader in passing percentage during his time at Mississippi State before he spent his final year at UW. But no, Jed Fisher announced yesterday that it's going to be Damon Williams Jr., their backup. I think Will Rogers got banged up in their last regular season game. I couldn't get confirmation on that just with all the research I had to do. But
I'm fairly certain. I'm going to put on my capital J here for a second. I'm fairly certain. I remember reading up on this shortly before we did one of the portal episodes. And Williams, I believe, started the final game of the year against Oregon. It was his first start, if I'm not mistaken, of his career. He had played quite a bit. I think was a huge part in them coming back or them beating UCLA, played a little bit against Penn State. But going into the prep for the bowl season, Jedd Fisch did say that he was going to split reps and that Williams was going to take about 70% of the starters' reps and Rogers was going to continue to stay with the team, which I remember calling out. That's very odd for a senior guy who was a one-year player who ultimately is kind of benched for him to even stick around for this game. So Matt, not to like, it seems like we're going to see both guys. I think that's what we're kind of reading in between the lines here, at least in some regards.
Yeah, and on that front, it seems like that's one area where Washington actually does kind of have an advantage over Louisville is that a little bit more, I don't want to say clarity on the quarterback situation, but a little bit more experience with it because their backup, I mean, he's gotten a fair amount of reps over the course of the season. I mean, like you said, he started the Oregon game, 56 of 73 for the year, 570 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, that's a lot more experience than either Harrison Bailey, Brady Allen, or Deuce Adams have combined. Right. So no matter who's out there for quarterback, it's someone who has at least some experience under the belt for Washington. Whereas, I mean, Louisville's about to throw one, if not multiple guys out there who have gotten very little reps this season at all, which is why ultimately I think this could be a game in which Louisville runs the ball like 40 times.
Right.
Here for it.
Right. I mean, you got to think those
absolutely.
guys when they got in, what'd they do? They were handoff guys. I mean, all of the backups this season have gotten in. Great job, guys. You hand the ball off 8 times and then took a seat and handed it off to the next guy to come in and do the same thing. So we have no idea. I mean, like I made the reference a couple of weeks ago, like we could get a Daniel Jones, New York Giants type of offense from Harrison Bailey. Like we don't know. We have no idea. Like I'm hoping that's not the case, like obviously. But like they could come out and they may not be able to move the football. We have like there's just no There's no familiarity.
I'm fingers crossed for a Kyle Bolin, UK come in and save the day.
Yes, a lot better than Daniel Jones, correct?
Or like a Kenny Pickett and Saquon Barkley situation.
Right, that's what we're hoping for. But without Harrison Bailey ever really playing meaningful snaps for Louisville within this offense, now without his number one receiver, no clue what you're getting there.
But you are getting Colin Lacey back.
That's true.
That's got to count for something.
Yeah. That's big news. Big news.
So I want to take the opportunity now, Matt, before I move things along, that just about wrap up the stats. I know it was a limited segment, but I don't want to cut anything off if there's any meat left on that bone.
Oh no! Plus, with Washington's defense, they really excel in the linebacking core and in their secondary. Like I said,
they do.
Fifth in passing yards allowed, and then Carson Bruner, who is their all Big Ten linebacker. And I can't remember the name of his counterpart. Alfonso Tuap. Oh Lord, hold on a minute.
Let's do it. Here we go.
No editing. I love it.
Tupatala. Alfonso Tupatala.
Yes. Alfonso Tupatala. Yes. I started singing. I'm like, hold on, this is not correct in the slightest.
Come on, you can do Nico Iamaleava. You can do that.
Yeah,
Iamaleava, Uyunglele. I can do all those Samoan names. But anyways, they've got a good 1-2 punch at linebacker. They've got a really good secondary, especially led by Cameron Fabikalanian.
Look at you with these names today, Matt. Man, the J is big.
Combined with the fact that Louisville's QB situation isn't what it was going to be like it was in the regular season. I mean, this could be a dink and duck situation for Harrison Bailey unless he's going to show us something we haven't seen since his Tennessee days. So, but as long as whomever is at quarterback can play smart, I mean, Louisville's got a chance to win this.
Just take care of the football.
I was going to say, so, I mean, if there was a chance or a game to take chances, make it a bowl game, though. That's the way I'm looking at it. Like, I'm out here. Let's see what you can do. Harrison Bailey somehow still has another. I believe that's the consensus now. He does have another year. Yeah. So this could be sort of a make good from Brom. Like, yeah, go out here. I'm going to call the offense. Let you try to audition to get a job somewhere. Because I assume he's not going to want to spend his last year being a backup.
Right. That's what I was going to get to.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly. Not. So for him, there's a lot at stake here, right? It's a audition, you could say. The portal is closed, open? Have we established kind of semi-closed? You got to run and jump and
This is
slide
ever
underneath.
closed.
Where are we at?
So no, it's closed right now for non-postseason teams. For
Okay.
teams that made a bowl, the transfer portal gets extended 5 days to after you play your bowl game.
Okay.
So after today, there's 5 days for Louisville players to enter the bowl.
Yeah,
Enter
all
to
right.
the
Why
enter the
didn't they
portal.
just do the where if you're playing in postseason play, you can't portal's closed. Sorry about you. You got to play with your team.
Yeah, I mean, the portal should theoretically open, but school doesn't work like that. That's the hard part, right? Like some of these guys are going to enroll and move to schools in January. You can't do that later than that,
They ain't
essentially.
there for school. Spring ball starts in March.
Yeah. all the academic advisors are like, shut up, Vince. Damn it. Be quiet, man.
There's a running back in Orlando who took that approach, and it didn't work well.
Right. Real quick before we kind of move on and talk about Louisville on the offensive side, I do want to ask Matt about the offensive line of Washington. That's where it seems like some of their weaknesses lie. I wonder if the Oregon game was an anomaly. They had 10 sacks in that game. You would think that it probably is, but Oregon is the number one team in the country for a reason, or in the top 5, whatever they are. Maybe they are number one. I don't. Yeah. So
They're number one.
yeah, right. That's what I thought. But I was starting to second guess myself. That's why I left it open just in case they weren't. See, smart thinking right here. But talk to me about the offensive line. Like Louisville's defensive line has been one of the more productive units on the team. A lot of guys getting sacks. No Ashton Gelati, but talk to me about the offensive line and where Louisville can kind of find weaknesses there.
I mean, I just real quick looked at the PFF grades for Washington's offensive line, and they are not great. These are the top 8 offensive in terms of like snaps play, blocking snaps play. These are the offensive grades for the linemen. 48.2, 57.3, 62.3, 57.4, 54.8, 43.0, and 38.5.
And Matt, can you remind the people what a average grade is on PFF, please? Just we got a lot of new audience here today, so we just need to make sure we're setting our bases with Matt stats.
The baseline for PFF, aka the average, is 60.
60.
And,
okay.
and something to take into account, like 2 of Washington's offensive line, like starting, one was a starter, one was a rotation guy. 2 of their top 7 guys are in the portal. So not only is this a unit that struggled, it's a unit that's going to be short a couple guys that like get regular play for them. So in terms of who has the most opportunities to make plays for Louisville, I mean, we want to say Isaac Brown just because it's Isaac
Right.
Brown against a rushing defense that's not very good for UW. But it's honestly probably going to be Louisville's defensive line and front 7 because Washington's offensive line is so bad.
Yeah, I love that. As the Sack King race, folks, if you're new here and you don't know what that is, kind of counterintuitive or kind of intuitive what it is, we're still counting. We're still waiting for the finale. We're going to crown a winner this week. So with Ashton out, guys like Ramon Purier and Tramel Logan and the list goes on and on.
They got a
right,
shot.
we got a shot, man.
Woo Spencer, Elvis Dumerville game incoming.
22 sacks
Need
to break the record all time. Yeah, I mean, so there is definitely opportunity. It's just a matter of can Louisville's guys step up, right? I mean, for most of them, despite the fact that Ashton Gelati didn't have a lot of sacks this year, he was still a damn good pass rusher, and a lot of guys on Louisville's front 7 or in Louisville's front 4 really benefited from that. How will that look today, right? You have no Jared Dawson, no Ashton Gelati, Thor Griffith. He's there. That's another one that really shocked me. He's with the team in El Paso. He's going to sit out the first half of this game because of the targeting, right? So he's not available until the second half, right? Yeah. So, but he's available. You have Des Tell. You do have Renee Conga. You do have Jordan Garrott. You got guys out there, right? But can they take advantage? It's a question for all of you all and for the audience. Do you guys believe that they will be able to take advantage collectively and have a big enough day to where that secondary that's minus Tayon Holloway, that's minus Quincy Riley can hold on and not give up big plays?
I mean, you're going to have to win your one-on-one matches on the edge right there. I mean, that's the big thing that teams had to do with Ashton is slide somebody over, double team, chip him with the tight end, chip him with a running back, whatever it might be. So these guys that are coming in and stepping into that spot win your one-on-one matches because this Washington, they're starting a true freshman quarterback too. Or we're starting a senior who's starting his first game. But, I mean, point still stands. Get after him. I mean, get after him on the edge in those one-on-one situations and win them.
And I'm curious to see how the edge play goes because I assume the game plan, because Washington, they like to dink and then they like to push the ball deep on the offensive side. Very stereotypical Jed Fish offense.
Right.
Get it out fast or go downfield and make big plays. I believe at one point in the season, they were top 10 in the country of plays 10 yards or more. So they can get the ball going downfield. That was with Will Rogers. So you're going to have opportunities if you're a Tramel Logan, if you're a Miles Jernigan, to get those opportunities on the edge. But it's probably not going to be a one-on-one situation because I don't know if we're going to blitz that much with what our secondary is going to be like. I assume it's going to be a pretty conservative game plan and just count on your defensive line to try and create pressure against an offensive line that has been porous, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Right.
This is a good place
They'll
for that
still
to
have
take
one-on-one matchups within that,
yeah.
though, Keith. I mean, like the backside end will almost always likely be in a one-on-one situation. It's just, but what I don't want them to do is see a freshman quarterback back there, a kid who can run the football. You know, they pin their ears back and lose contain. You know, somebody spins inside when they shouldn't have been spinning inside, and now there's a humongous hole on the edge, and we're screwed getting busted for 60 yards.
Yeah, I feel like there's two schools of thought on how to handle freshman quarterbacks. Either blitz them and apply an obscene amount of pressure and make them make plays, or sit back. Come on, throw it. Find the opening.
Which you can definitely tell. I played for Todd Grantham with how I'm looking at this.
Yeah, Keith. I mean, you said this could be like a very conservative game plan day. Like, I mean, I honestly think you could probably get away with doing the complete opposite. I mean, because the offensive line for Washington is so bad, because you're playing a true freshman quarterback who, I mean, he's had snaps this year, but he wasn't a starter by any means. I mean, you've got kind of the ingredients there. Now, you're missing two key guys on the defensive line, but you've got ample opportunity for your defensive line to make one-on-one plays. Like, even when you're not blitzing, and if you add a blitz to the mix, you're almost guaranteed to get pressure home, barring some sort of massive screw up with the fundamentals. You're almost guaranteed to get home pretty fast.
They gave up 34 sacks this year as an offense. 16 of those are to Williams Jr. Think about that, right? 16 of the 34. The other, and Will Rogers started every game, but the last one. Yeah, go ahead, Vince.
This quarterback's listed at 5'11".
Yes, bro. I try to tell you all.
As somebody that was listed as 6 foot in the program, am I 6 foot?
No, and he's not 5'11". He's not 5'11" either, man.
How coiffed is your hair that day?
I wore cowboy boots, and Rocco got me right. So
exactly. Right.
With the cleats on, but we're standing on concrete.
But still, I mean, 5'11".
He's tiny, man.
Yeah, I mean, go after him. In my opinion,
right?
Go after him. Man up on
make him. Let your D lineman be D lineman. Make him make a throw. And the main reason I say that. Denzel Boston, one of their stud wide receivers, he is friggin' spooky, man. He is really good. Like, I don't want to let him beat me. Make them dink and dunk to win the game. And also, let's keep this clock moving along. The longer the game goes on, more plays, more likely you have guys who are returning next year get hurt. And with a bowl game this late in the calendar, you're missing spring ball, you're probably missing training camp, and you're missing a couple weeks of the season if you have a bad injury. Let's just let that play clock run, baby. Let's get in, get out, get it over with.
I'm knocking on wood.
Yeah, me too.
But look, man, it's an interesting dilemma. Like Matt said, you could flip flop kind of the conservative to go balls to the wall, or you could come out and play conservative. There's reasons for both on both sides of the ball. When you talk about corners, though, we mentioned this before. Quincy Riley, Taylor Holloway out, so that leaves Corey Thornton, who has been really good this year in moments. You know, he's obviously, I think, tied for the lead in interceptions. Had one in the Kentucky game, or maybe it was the game before, but was kind of playing well towards the end of the season. Had his ups and downs, but you get him, and then you get Taz Nicholson as kind of your 1-2 punch, and I still feel pretty good about that. It's not, Quincy Riley and Corey Thornton and Taylor Holloway and those guys, but I feel good with those three, or those, with the top two. But then behind that, man, I mean, the depth chart was. You got freshmen in there. Looks like we're going to see maybe a little bit of Raymond Mosby. I mean, he's kind of as the backup.
Yeah, the depth chart behind those two starters at corner are literally 3 redshirt freshmen. It's Jaden Minkins, Dustin Cheers, and Raymond Mosby. 2 of those guys are walk-ons.
Yes, right. And Dustin Cheers, I believe, has played a little bit this year, early in the year, but for the most part, right? I mean, those are not names that you want to really be counting on in this moment against a dynamic set of receivers.
Yeah. Do you think we play guys out of position like Dave McCullough, Angelo Hutchinson, put them in corner if need be?
I think
I could see.
Go.
Oh, we got conflicting views here.
I
Let's
don't
see.
think so. I think that we talked about simplifying things on the defense months ago. I mean, that was one of the first things that the defense had to correct was simplifying things. And I think you dumb it down even more right now. I mean, your linebackers and your front seven, keep things smooth, keep things regular. But with your back end, you can 100% dumb things down. And, I mean, cover one's cover one, no matter how you want to look at it. Cover two's cover two, no matter how you want to look at it. Just keep it really simple for these guys. And simple, efficient football can win the football game. Because then you're not making any mistakes.
Yep. Matt, your turn to persuade me. I can go either way.
If there's anyone who I think could play out of position, I think it's probably going to be Tamarion McDonald because he's already shown this year that he can play at several spots in the field. And plus, at safety, I mean, it's not as bad. I mean, you've got T-Mac as the free safety, but you've got D'Angelo Hutchinson behind him. You've got also MJ Griffin at strong. D'Lo can also play strong there. I mean, Dave McCullough is also a young guy, but he's a true converted safety. So he's someone who could play there in case you decide to creep up Hutchinson or T-Mac closer to the line. So I do agree with Vince that I don't think there's going to be a lot of guys playing out of position. But if it does get to that point, I could see someone like T-Mac doing it.
T-Mac, right? He's the one that you can kind of – I mean, you could really make him your wild card in this game. He could be a real X factor, right? Because you could blitz with him. I mean, you go back to the game at the beginning of the season, his only 2 sacks, first game. We could see something like that where they're playing him as a blitzer. He can also cover, has played well in coverage. I believe has a couple forced fumbles this year and is always around the football. So, the thing about the defense, I got this text this morning about how you feeling. The defense, it sucks not having Ashton and Quincy. And then I even think to an extent that loss of Ben Perry is one that hurts just from a continuity standpoint. He did drop back a lot into coverage late in the year, was, playing behind Antonio Watts in that linebacker hybrid role. So there are some really big pieces, but for me, the difference is when you look at the secondary, having the familiarity of MJ Griffin, D'Angelo Hutchinson, and then Antonio Watts. I know he's not a real safety. And then Tamarion McDonald. I feel really good about those 4 guys. And then finding the 2 corners in Taz and Corey Thornton to kind of set your base coverage and man-to-man when you're playing it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that a kind of maybe a little too optimistic and me being kind of fan there, or do you see where I'm coming from with we got the dudes, right? It's just a matter of executing.
I've mentioned this every bowl season that we've had that I've been a part of the show. Somebody special, somebody random always ends up making a play in one of these games, be it Devontae Pete in 19, Kane Pass in 19, TJ Hull coming in on a quarter's notice after what's his name gets ejected. That's kind of what this stuff's all about, is how much preparation you've done throughout the season, how much you've paid attention and been in your playbook, how much scouting you've done throughout the year. Have you been taking things serious in the weight room throughout the season? Can the coaches trust you? All those things come into play for this game. And it's really, people are going to have opportunities, and it's whether or not you take advantage of them.
Right. I wrote about this rare writing for me over the break. That's how you can tell I've been bored not having work. Is I started writing again. I'm I forgot I did this.
You can do my work if you want to.
No, thank you. I've got plenty waiting for me when we get back. But what I wrote was the bowl game always provides an opportunity for something exciting, special, like you said. You get big plays from guys that you weren't expecting. You draw up things that you weren't expecting. And for me, I'm calling it now. Ramon Purrier on offense. It's gonna be goal line, 1 yard line. I'm telling you, man, get him out there for the offensive touchdown. 4 touchdowns on the year would be incredible. But I'm jokingly, half jokingly say that, but I listed some things that I think you could see in this. Maybe we see a Philly special and Harrison Bailey catches a touchdown, right, from Colin Lacey or from somebody that can throw. Chris Hughes, we don't know who's returning punts. I mean, Colin Lacey obviously was somebody who could be very dynamic on special teams. We saw that. But I wrote, Chris Hughes, maybe he gets back there and returns a punt for a touchdown. Maybe you get the Wild Egan. I'm telling you, if there's ever a day to throw it out there, it's today. The Wild Egan exactly what you think it is. Travis Egan at quarterback, and let's fucking go, right? And I do think that there's going to be a place where he has to take some handoffs, right? They only have 2 scholarship running backs. They don't have any backup running backs as a walk-on this year. Somebody else is going to get back there. There's going to be jet sweeps and reverses. We're going to see some unique stuff. But I think all those things are on the table, and that's what makes this game exciting. But it also, makes it scary because there's some mistakes that can happen within that, right? There's a lot of opportunity to Jeff Brom. We've seen the pitch on 4th and 1 to Donald Chaney, and you're like, what are you doing, Jeff?
I don't want to see a flea flicker this game.
Yeah. Oh, you're
The
getting a
trick-
double
no.
reverse pass.
The
no matter what
trick-
you want, you're getting one.
I'll take a
Like
double
it.
reverse pass. I'll take it.
You're
I
getting
love
that
it.
today no matter
But
what.
I will
We will
not
get some
take a
trick
flea
plays.
flicker.
The trick plays are coming today.
So my call my shot. I think we're getting a thick 6 today. They like to dink and dunk, get the ball out quick. I think a Jernigan gets a hand up at the line of scrimmage or something, maybe bats a ball up in the air, or maybe on a quick hitter, Stanquan comes and blows a kid up and there's a fumble. Big man gets the ball and finds his way to the end zone. I don't know if it's going to be Ramon again.
It is, man. I don't know if I'll be able to contain myself. I'm going to break Twitter. I will. Just like one.
It's going to break into the Eastern basketball gym and hang his own damn Ramon Perrier.
No, look, man. They have on top of Eastern High School. They used to have an eagle head. I'm going to get up there and put a statue of Ramon Purrier so everyone can see from the aerial shot Ramon scoring a touchdown. I mean, no, honestly though, that's what makes today exciting. And for Washington, they're going to probably stick to the basics more so than Louisville will because they are kind of a team that's established. They got a quarterback who's played. Their running back is back. Their wide receiver is back, right? Louisville's kind of missing some of that. So I think in this one, you're going to see Jonah Coleman be relied on. You're going to see Denzel Boston be relied on. You're going to see them kind of continue to do what they do. However, what I will say, one thing that makes me really nervous about this game is somebody mentioned this in the pass rush. Kind of Louisville has a tendency to just kind of open them up, right? Like just a little hole here for the quarterback to, right? So I expect we're going to see that at some point today. I don't know what that looks like. He's not run the ball for a lot of big games. It's been little runs here and there, but Louisville has a tendency in the RPO to overcommit, whether it be down the middle, outside. When they pass rush, we've seen them take really wide pass rush angles. That opens you up to the quarterback run. So they've got to be really careful with that.
Cover
today.
the wheel as well. That'll come for sure.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I have to pause for just 1 minute. Jalen Milroe has 3 turnovers in the first 11 minutes of this game.
Wow, man.
Oh, they should have been in.
That's ugly.
I'm not gonna lie. I've got this game on the background, and they got a pick on their last position. I'm like, I'm gonna bet the live money line on Michigan.
I saw you looking down, and I'm like, oh, Matt's moving pretty frantically. Do we have breaking news or something? So,
Yeah, right.
No,
but while we have a break in the action, for those of you who are tuned in, we see the comments. Hop on in. We got the YouTube chat open. I believe I thought it was only read only, but I'm seeing tweets coming in our way as well. So
Okay.
I just want to highlight a few. Of course, one of the first ones in, and always tuning into every episode. So KY Ridge Runner. Here we go, boys. CARTS. Let's bookend the weekend with a win. Who's QB1? And I'll do this in multiple parts. I think we've all Harrison Bailey's QB1 for this game, right? And will we have multiple QBs and packages, you think? I would say that's almost a certainty at this point.
I think so too. Absolutely.
He's doing the players a disservice if he's not getting Deuce Adams some action, or even Brady Allen.
Yeah, so let's talk about that one.
See, I'm of the camp, before you go, I'm of the camp that I don't think we'll do that. I think
It's Egan or bust.
Just
I think
missionary and eye contact offense.
I think stuff is going to have to go really. I think it's going to have to go bad for us for Jeff to sub a quarterback in, or go really well with us blowing them out. Wow, I hate you so much, Keith.
Yeah,
I wasn't even going to say anything. I was going to say, or we're going really well, but you beat me to the punch. So
Matt, talk to me a little bit about Brady Allen. What do you know? Like, what's the him and Jaleel Skinner both? Is this a matter of just the interest isn't there from the teams maybe they thought, or is there an opportunity to play this game and then maybe reportal afterwards with like a kind of a fresh set of film?
It could be. I think with Brady Allen, it's like you mentioned earlier. Like it could be a chance for Harrison Bailey to really show out, and then enter the portal to get some like real film and interest there. And Brady's going to be able to compete for a backup spot behind Miller Moss. And then with Jaleel Skinner, I mean Louisville missed out on Max Clare, and I think there were a couple other tight end targets that they were kind of after that they missed out on. So
yeah, Big Pimpin, Big Pimpton. I was really disappointed he went to TCU, man. Yeah,
I know. So I think it could be for Skinner. I'm guessing. I don't have inside info on this part. I would have guessed that Louisville needed him more so than they thought they would after having to after striking out on some tight end targets. Now I include the caveat that there's still plenty of time for other teams that are currently in the postseason for their players in the portal. Like I said, teams in the postseason, their players have an additional 5 days after their bowl game to enter. So who's to say this Bama Michigan game that I'm watching right now, some tight end on either one of their teams can enter the portal? Never know.
Portal's so weird.
Yeah, it is. I like Julius Skinner back. I know it's kind of off topic, but I didn't think we got to see enough out of some of the other tight ends, and maybe that's because they weren't doing enough to get out there, right? It's a two-way street on that.
I wonder if you said yesterday's price ain't today's price.
That's exactly right. They called him up and they're like, "Hey, Jalil, so about that portal thing," and he said, "Hey, man, money talks, right?"
Right.
But Brady Allen, do we think there's the quarterback conversation today sets up the quarterback conversation for next year? We know Miller Moss is going to be the guy. But what about behind him as the backup quarterback? Because right now you're really relying on one of these two young guys on the roster, maybe stepping into that, or maybe they compete. You do have Mason Mims coming in next year, who by all accounts seems like he could be a really good quarterback at the college level. But is there a need to go get another quarterback from the portal? What are they going to do here, Matt? What do you think?
Excuse me. No, I don't think that there's going to be a need. This is me projecting the future. I think that
rub your ball head and let's see what comes out from the future.
I'm not doing that. I could see someone enter a quarterback entering the portal in the spring window.
Yeah.
Whomever kind of loses that backup battle between Brady Allen or Deuce Adams, I would think Brady might enter again.
Yeah,
just because
or Bailey, and Bailey.
Well, or I think, like you said, I think Bailey could enter after this bowl game after he gets some film.
Can we afford to have another quarterback hit the portal at this point and not?
That's what I'm saying.
We only have 4 scholarship quarterbacks right now.
Right.
Well, I was gonna say I've seen enough of Brady Allen in the last 2 spring balls and fall camp to think. I don't want to continue to crap on the kid, but he's been extremely inconsistent. And then with Deuce Adams, even though he had brilliant freshman moments to start this past fall camp, towards those last couple open fall practices, I was like, this kid's got a cannon. And if he can really fine tune that, I think that he might be the favorite right now to be the backup in case Harrison Bailey does actually enter the portal.
What about Mims? Is he enrolling? Do we know if he's going to be here in January?
Yeah, he's early enrolling. Mm-hmm. The only guys that are not early enrolling were the ones I think committed day of the first day of the early signing period. Everyone else is early enrollee.
Yeah. Oh, I see the comment here. That would be my smoke alarm. No, look, I've told this story on the show 15 times. We reset it, I don't know, an hour and a half ago. The batteries are new. Fucking, is anybody got contacted?
That is great.
Send them my way.
The comment below that Chris Bell is going to be chirping more.
Right, exactly, man.
Get in the comments and clown Jacob. Come on, best buds will get on screen.
Man, I'm so tired of having to get a chair, stand on it, reset the smoke detector every 35 minutes. ADT, if you're watching, or if anybody works for ADT, please, I'll freaking DM you my cell phone number to come fix this shit. It is ridiculous. Trying to get somebody from help desk to understand, just put new batteries in it. I'm like, I fucking did put new batteries in it. It's still beeping. Fix it remotely. Fuck. I paid way too much for this. Yeah. So commenters, I'm with you. I'll roast myself in the comments section. It's awful. I'll be laying in bed at 5 a.m, just about to lose my mind if that fucking beeps one more time. Yeah, it beeps. See, fuck, man. I'm gonna put myself on mute and go stand on a chair and turn it off, dude. You're gonna hear Pee Wee Valley Man dies in fire because fire detector wasn't working. I mean,
Smoke detector was like, I heard you was talking shit.
And they'd be like, I told him.
right?
trying to
Watch
tell
this. Right. So yes, you know what? I'm gonna put myself on mute. I'm gonna go fix that. That's what I'm gonna do right now.
Oh, no.
So I'm gonna hit mute,
Right.
turn my camera off, send me to the waiting room. And
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
fix it
no,
and come
no.
back.
I just want to see the empty room while you're gone. Just the aesthetic.
Should I just?
Yeah.
All right, back to the commenters, folks.
Yep. So another one from earlier. Can y'all talk about the matchup between our wide receivers and their corners? And this is one of the more underrated matchups, I feel like, going into this game. Because like you talked about in the brief Matt Stats segment earlier, they have a damn good secondary. And especially for bowl game depth, like, yes, we're missing Ja'Cory Brooks, but we have Bell, we have Lacey, we have Blue Hicks, who's looked good. Chris Hughes, all of a sudden, is looking good. We have all our tight ends. Like, it's going to be a fantastic matchup to watch. The only reason I don't know if we'll see it too often is just because of the quarterback situation on our side. But
I tell you what, whoever Thaddeus Dixon for Washington decides to shadow, it's going to be a tight matchup because he's one of their. I think he is their top cornerback. And like he's like one of the higher graded guys in the Big Ten, and he's pretty good. If he decides to shadow Colin Lacey the entire time, if they decide to employ that, right? I don't know how often they do that. I mean, he's a guy that's 6'1", 186 going up against the slot guy. So
what I think that Washington's defense is going to be lulled to sleep with how much we're going to be running the football, and that they might. They might be giving up a couple of big plays based off of them having bad eyes and trying to predict the run and come off of their guy.
So I'm actually of the school of thought, I don't think we're going to pound the rock that much.
Podcast just disagreeing like crazy.
I know. Let's have it here. We go live and all of a sudden.
Let me turn up the animation. Now listen to me, Vince Lococo. If you think that Jeff Brom's going to run the football 40 times with only 2 scholarship running backs.
Can't tell if you're Stephen A or Mad Dog.
It's like a mix.
It's sort of a hybrid of the two.
Stephen A, Mad Dog.
I don't think that because we only have 2 scholarship running backs and they're studs. Yeah. And I talked about it earlier in the episode. Like, if you get hurt this late in a season, you're not going to be back for week 1 if it's a bad injury.
But there's a saying that I know Coach Brom lives and dies by because I was around it. And it's called fix the smoke alarm. No, feed the studs. Feed the studs is what it is. And I truly think that with our 2 studs at running back, Washington's going to be thinking we're running the football. They'll get lulled to sleep on the back end, and we'll hit something over top. Now, it could go either way.
Yeah, I think you can use the run to set up play action without running the ball 35, 40 times in a game. Like, I think 20, 25 carries split between the 2 running backs, I think that's more than reasonable amount. Like, run our game plan. I just think it's going to be a situation where let's let the play clock get down to about 7 or 8 before we snap the ball. Like, minimize the amount of snaps possible while still trying to play and execute the game plan.
Oh, we have comment from fullback legend Isaac Martin in here. Are we thinking Wayne Martin anytime touchdown? 100%. That's why I've lost so much money on the cards this year.
If only they had TD assists as a stat you could bet on.
That, actually, what are the odds on that? I might go ahead just for the show and put some money on that.
I mean, I was just on DraftKings betting this Michigan game, so I can check real quick. But going back to the last one, I think one school of thought could be, okay, Harrison Bailey's seen extremely minimal time. We don't really know what's going to happen. Like, either he's going to struggle, or because Washington's defense doesn't really have anything to scout for him specifically, maybe he could pop off. I mean, granted, like, they can still scout Louisville's scheme and tendencies and all that, but I mean, you're still facing someone who's going to see a lot of snaps. He's going to see a lot of snaps. It's going to be the most snaps he's played probably since his time in Tennessee, because he didn't really see that much time at UNLV, if I remember correctly.
I don't think he played, did he?
He played some, but
I think he started, got injured, and then was benched via injury because his backup came in and played well at UNLV.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to butt in here. I've got some very unfortunate news. Isaac, if you're still watching, there are no odds for a Dwayne Martin touchdown, unfortunately. I've double-checked on, at least on
Yeah.
DraftKings, which is the
Yeah, I just
the book that I use
That's
preferably. However, guys, I think this is a fun game.
anti-fullback discrimination.
Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, we're gonna make. I got a little bit of money in my account. We're gonna do this in real time right here. We're gonna go through and we're gonna pick one anytime touchdown player each, and I'm gonna put bets in on this. Okay. All right, but it's got to be. Here's the game. Here's the kicker. It has to be. We'll start it at Chris Hughes. Actually, no, we'll start it at Blue Hicks. He is plus 360 as an anytime touchdown scorer. You know what? Here, I'll just run through this. Blue Hicks plus 360. Chris Hughes plus 425. Harrison Bailey, which just to reiterate would have to be a rushing touchdown, 475. Antonio Meeks plus 500. Louisville defense plus 400. Nate Kariski plus 650. And then Isaiah Cummings at plus 700. Guys, what are we doing here? Should we
Defense.
one at a time?
So
No.
you're on DraftKings, are you not?
I am on DraftKings, yes.
I was going to say,
Defense.
I got Harrison Bailey plus 850 on FanDuel. So
yeah, so it's
that-
just a matter of some. Yeah,
that-
right.
That's the ticket I'll punch. Harrison Bailey on a QB sneak at the goal line at plus 850.
So
Give it to me.
Yeah. So one that I like, I mean, the return's not going to be like it was if it was like plus 700. But Duke Watson is plus 165.
Yeah, I saw that. But if I'm going with Duke or
Plus
with
200 on FanDuel.
Brown, oh, that's not bad. I'm going 2+ touchdowns, and that's plus 1,000 for Duke Watson. That might be a banger today, folks. I'm actually thinking I'm going to use that as mine here for the show.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and place that now. And then, okay, so we got defense. I put mine in. Keith, you said Harrison Bailey. I'll let you take care of that on your own. You've already done it. Your book is better than mine. I get it, man. I get it. Get better odds. I got it. Matt, what are we doing here? I'm going to put your bet down for you. What do you got?
I had Duke anytime.
Okay, Duke anytime. I'm not going to let you take that one here. I'm sorry. That's too average. Like I said, I think you got to start at. I'll give you Mark Redmond plus 255.
No,
Plus
that's
300 on FanDuel.
This is what I'm going to do. Louisville defense special teams plus 400.
Okay,
Because
all
they have scored on defense and special teams multiple times this year.
That is true.
So
Okay. All right. I got bets in.
Not
So
bad.
it could be a big day for us, folks, financially. We'll see.
I think
we
we
might
need
win
to bring up the
$5.
fact that Washington's 0-6 on the road.
Yes,
Also-
they haven't won a game outside of their own stadium. Right?
So, I mean,
this
I
is El
think that's
Paso,
0-6.
Texas.
Oh,
Yeah.
6-0 at home. Nice.
Yeah.
Good for
Right.
Washington. Also, just to throw an extra little anytime TD sprinkle on there, a couple of guys that you might like, and they're on DraftKings. Chris Hughes at plus 425. We talked about how we have a lot of our top guys in the wide receiver core available. Maybe that means Chris Hughes gets a mismatch on like a linebacker in coverage and could get away with something. Or Nate Kariski at plus
Dude,
650.
Nate Kariski ones. That's sexy,
That's-
man. 'cause
that's
he's got
tempting.
2 of them things
That's
already.
very
this
That's
year
what
on the goal
Easy,
line.
That is
Easy
very
Mac
tempting.
commented on the in the comments.
Yeah,
section.
Easy Mac,
Chris,
yeah.
Yeah. Easy
that's
Mac
another
knows
good
ball.
Right, exactly. So I think there's a lot of good opportunity. Colin Lacey's got good. I mean, someone's going to score touchdowns today, right? Like, hopefully this isn't a 15-12 Brock Travis game.
I do think Lacey's odds are too good for having not played in like 2 months. So yeah, I don't know if I would even touch Lacey, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
But
we'll
that's
see.
just
It's gonna
me,
be
though.
interesting. What else we got in here, Keith? Anything else good in the comments? I've with asterisk fixed the smoke detector for now. So I got about 20 minutes before we have to do it again, but it's fixed for now. I haven't heard it this last couple minutes. So folks,
Oh my
now you can
God.
rest easy. I got it. Keep
I
watching.
didn't read the one from Kevin.
That one was the best, man. Yeah, Chris Bell's gonna be chirping.
That was so
That
good.
was
Again,
good.
that is me. I will take full credit for that. That is, if you know ADT or anyone that works there, please tell them to call me so I can get this shit fixed. But what else we got, Keith? Anything in there? Okay, it looks like we lost Keith. So, and I think
He
I
said
can.
he's done with the
unpin.
show.
I think
Right,
I
yeah.
can. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm in control here of being able to.
And he's in the comment section.
Okay, well, let me see if I can go back. All comments. This is good streaming right here. I'm in Shadow Realm. Man, yeah, that's the internet for you. That's what it does. And hopefully for him at some point, it will hopefully we can get it fixed. We do this every week, right? And this is what happens from time to time.
I need smart football today, though, boys. Like I'm gonna go crazy if there's just mistakes and penalties and things like that. I mean, I get we're starting a brand new quarterback, but he hasn't been with the scout team all year. It's not like he's been down there running scout and not in the offense, not in game prep, not in the quarterback room. We're going to be able to see a lot on how well Jeff and Brian develop quarterbacks today.
Yeah,
And
I think
that's
so
going
too.
to be extremely
absolutely.
telling for the future for us. I think they've done a phenomenal job with Jack and Tyler the past 2 years, getting the most that they could out of both of those guys. So now it's time to see what you guys can do with your guys.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's kind of reset here. We've got some folks jumping in. Appreciate everyone for watching and spending your New Year's Eve day getting ready for Louisville football less than 2 hours from now. So very exciting stuff. We've been going here for about an hour. We've talked about the matchup. We've broken down just about every angle, but I do want to kind of dive back into some of the topics that we've covered as we kind of head towards wrapping up the show and allowing Matt to get prepared for his big day of journalism. While the rest of us drink beer on our couches and yell at the TV, just the way that it goes around here. See, that's what makes it work, though, right? That's the auras, the vibes we're getting today.
Right.
You get journalism, and then I got a beer sitting in the fridge. I was going to bring it over here, and my wife was like, "It's too early to put a beer on camera." I'm like, "Fucking no, it's not. It's perfect."
Do you know this show, Taylor?
Right. It's the most on-brand thing I can do for
Hey,
this
y'all,
show.
y'all get to drink beer, and currently Michigan's winning me money. So who's really
So
winning?
there you go, man.
Ah,
But let's talk a little bit about just the general just the overview of this game. As we mentioned to start the show, Washington is 6-6, 4-5 in the Big Ten this season. I believe they finished 9th, lost their last game of the year at Oregon, but had lost, had really kind of a up and down finish, beating USC and UCLA, but dropping to Iowa, Indiana, and then Penn State and Oregon. Their best win of the year is Michigan, but we've obviously that's kind of telling now with Michigan handling Bama or playing with Bama the way that they are. But that was at the time when Michigan was top 10. We obviously saw how that finished for them. But outside of that, they really didn't have many great wins. Weber State, Eastern Michigan, Northwestern, who they beat 24-5. That's Keith Artoff's type of football right there. 5 points is the type of shit he loves, man.
True.
Give me
Big Ten
just a
football.
safety and a field goal. That's the best thing about college football. And then their losses this year: Washington State, Rutgers, Indiana, Penn State, and Oregon. So it's been kind of up and down, as I mentioned, in Iowa.
I mean, all of their losses have been to good to great teams. I mean, Oregon, great. Penn State,
Rutgers
great.
good?
Both those teams are in the TFP. Indiana also
Mid.
was a TFP team.
Mid.
Right. Iowa can't move the ball on offense at all, but I mean they've got great defense. I mean,
And they scored 40 points. I mean, shit.
Yeah. And Rutgers is solid. Washington State's solid. I mean, none of their losses were to like really questionable teams.
Yes.
So
It's just a matter of how they got blown out in what, 3 or 4 of their losses by quite a bit. I mean, so again, up and down. They're 6-6 Big Ten. That translates to, in different conferences, it means different things, kind of how they place. Some might say they could be, if you get
they
into
go
this
3-9
hypothetical.
in the mighty SEC.
Yeah, but they go undefeated in the ACC, right?
They're still a
So either
Pac-12
way.
football team in my brain, and you all know how I feel about the Pac-12.
Yeah. I mean, can you tell me again what you think about the Pac-12 one last time? The
I think
Pac-2 now.
I think West Coast football and the Pac-12 is extremely soft. I always have. I always will.
So
Man,
it's funny though, because last
that
year
take's going to age like milk when Oregon
just like it
wins
did
the
last year.
national championship.
Who do you think is softer, Pac-12 football teams or Duke?
That's pretty,
Ooh.
pretty dude.
Well, we lost Vince for the rest of the show. He's going to be pondering.
yeah, that was a good one.
The Duke game's gonna be really interesting.
My
I can't
hamster
wait to see
wheel
the
is
text.
churning right there. You almost saw smoke coming out of my ears.
Yeah. All right, so let's transition in here just a little bit. As I mentioned, I want to kind of dive into some of the big storylines of the game today. Let's talk about Harrison Bailey, Matt. Give me the breakdown. What are we gonna see today? Like, what does he do well? What has he kind of struggled with? I know he's bounced around. 5-star kid out of that played at Tennessee, didn't really come to be anything. Went to UNLV, walks on at Louisville to start. And now kind of here he is as the de facto backup when everybody really thought it was Pierce Clarkson. But it's been Harrison Bailey really throughout the year. So what are we going to see today, Matt? Just give me an idea of what you know about him and what we'll see.
I can say that his handoffs will be.
Yes, right. We know. Chris, we've seen those, right?
I've seen
I think
those.
9 of
So,
them things.
Now go ahead.
So I I mean, he's got the tools, but I mean, I would think to start this game, it's not going to start right out of the gates with Harrison Bailey just throwing absolute bombs to Lacey or Bell. Now, it'd be hysterical if it
That'd
did.
be awesome.
It would be, but I mean, this is a kid who is stepping into his first start in a while, and in a game where he's going to see like major action, like major playing time for the first time, probably since his freshman year at Tennessee in 2020. So, like, to start the game, Braun would probably dial up some easy pitch and catch type throws, maybe some screen passes, some slants, some stuff like that.
Can I give you all a little bit of a peek behind the curtain? I love slants, but I've moved to a new thing. Okay. I love a good pop pass, man. I need to see so many of those.
I was going to say, wait till you
passes.
figured out what sluggo means.
Yeah.
Slant and
Go ahead, Matt. Yeah, right. I know, right.
Just make
Vince, wait until he starts calling routes just by the number.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, that'll be over my head. That'll be over my head.
Nine route, fly.
Done.
Yeah. But no, and plus, setting Bailey up, just get some throws to make him comfortable, and kind of use that as a basis to how he's going to manage the rest of the game. Now, if Bailey looks good with managing the offense, making these short, simple throws, and he's able to escalate that a little bit to a little bit more complex routes and things of that nature, I can see Braun being a lot more comfortable, like going with the passing game, like deep into the second half and using that. But if it's clear from the jump that Harrison's not doing too hot with some of these throws that's really designed to get your quarterback comfortable, I can easily see them past the first quarter running like 60-70% of the time.
Yeah. So you don't think Washington's going to probably try to stack the box and make Harrison Bailey sweat, make him make a play, and also stack the box against the run game, so you're sort of two birds, one stone?
No, I think they will. It's just how Harrison Bailey responds to that. If he's able to, live up to his former 5-star billing and utilize his physical tools and attributes, that would bode well for Louisville. But it's how he responds in the first. How this script goes is going to be interesting.
I want to see him take the top off early, like them pressing up. They think we're just going to hand the ball off to our two freshman studs early in the game. Take the top off, let one rip, trust Chris Bell to go be a grown-ass man and go make a grown-ass man play, and just get him early.
I just hope that our quarterback, former 5-star, doesn't play like the former 5-star down the road.
Remember, I'll give you that, man. Look, the parallels are. There was no stop at a small school in between for Vandergrift, but pretty close, man. Yeah, pretty close.
I'm not gonna trash that kid too much, just because all the joy and love of football got sucked out of him playing down the road.
Not me. You know what you signed up for with that.
Go enjoy farming life. He's moving to a farm downstate now.
Yep, him and Landon Young can open up a tobacco farm.
When you talk about Harrison Bailey and the weapons he has, I think one of the things that's going to be really important today is to lean on the passing blankie. What I mean by that is Isaac Brown and Duke Watson out of the backfield. For folks that don't keep up with stats, Isaac Brown finished third on the team in receptions. Now, he was nowhere near the top in receiving yards because that was a byproduct of a lot of dump downs, right? But use those guys as your security blanket. Like, make sure you're always reading and keeping that, whether they're blocking and releasing or whether they're designed routes. Those guys are dynamic in the passing game. And then with the tight ends, you have Mark Redmond playing today. You have Nate Kariski. You have Isaiah Cummings. You have Jalil Skinner, I assume. So you have almost a full house. Let's use them. Let's get them involved. Dwayne Martin, throw him into the mix there, right? Like, one of the things you don't see a lot out of the passing game is Dwayne Martin. One of the wrinkles today could be play action, throw the ball on the goal line to Dwayne Martin. Those kind of things to keep Washington on their toes. And then, look, man, the receivers, like, I mentioned this before, not having Ja'Cory Brooks, especially as that downfield vertical threat, is going to hurt. But when you talk about the guy that I think is going to have a huge opportunity today in Blue Hicks, you talk about Chris Hughes, you talk about some of the other guys that are out there that are going to play. Colin Lacey is a big one. They've got guys. It's just a matter of getting them the ball, being accurate. Vince, you talk about footwork and the fundamentals of being a quarterback. This is his opportunity to kind of bring all that together. And for him, everything he needs is there. to be successful. Everything he needs. He's got a dynamic football coach, a great quarterback developer. He's got an offense, yes, that's missing weapons, but it has enough. And then it has just two absolute workhorses that you can lean on and run the ball. For him, play smart. I think you win this football game. I really do. I think if you play smart, don't turn the football over, you're going to be fine.
Game manage the football game. Do well.
Right. Game manage, right? Go out
games
there.
are the time to be a hero. Be a hero.
He's gonna grab him by the face mask. You know what to fucking do.
Yeah, right.
It's your moment. This is your time. I'm the devil. I'm the devil on the shoulder.
Yeah, you're the devil, and meanwhile Vince is like the angel. Like, no,
relax.
Yeah.
Relax.
Throw that. Just dump it down. Throw it away.
Throw it away.
Fuck it. Bell down there somewhere.
I hope
That's
I don't
great,
see
man.
any of fucking Bell down there somewhere, man. We'll be
Hey, I'm here for it. I didn't even mention Chris Bell, but I mean, shame on me. You talk about he was dynamic down the end of the season. He was, was the best receiver, obviously, in the UK game, had that fantastic catch, but I believe was their leading receiver in 2 or 3 out of the final 4 games. So you're talking about him really kind of coming on late. So look, you have all those guys, no excuses. Go out there and get it done. Defensively, I think it relies on 2 things in this game. Can the pass rush be enough of a force to make Damon Williams sweat, make his feet move, make him get out of the pocket? 10 sacks against Oregon is a byproduct of moving around and getting nervous. That's what he's going to do. Now, be careful with the RPO game that they're not slippery on you, that he doesn't sneak through for a big QB draw.
That we've seen sacked 10 times against Oregon?
I believe so, yes. I might have that number wrong, but yes.
That Jacob is like freshman quarterback. He's not just trying to remember where to go with the football. He's also having to call these protections in a lot of times. I mean, and I know in Coach Petrino's offense, quarterback, especially when they were going no huddle, would call the protection, so on and so on. I know the offensive line calls the protection as well, but him as a quarterback, he still has to be conscious of where these blockers are going. And all it takes is for him to think the line's sliding left when they're really sliding right, and him to step left, and he's getting killed.
Destroyed. Right. Exactly. So take advantage of that and then tackle well. I know you might say to yourself, well, cover. Yeah. But I think all that's going to come if you just do the little things and tackle well. Like even if you give up passing plays, don't give up big plays, right? Yeah. They have weapons. You're missing some of your top corners. Tackle. Do not let Jonah Coleman get yards after contact. Do not let Denzel Boston get free. Do not let them set him up to make big plays. And I think, again, you're going to take care of business in this game. They're the better team on paper and by results this year.
And to your point, Jacob, I think they'll run a lot of catch technique with the DBs so that they don't get ran past. I mean, a lot of times in press, that's how you create that early separation and get beat. So, I mean, having them 5-6 yards off the line of scrimmage, 3, 4, however many they line up in that off technique, depending on the coverage, catch is going to be ideal for them.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. All right, let's do this. We're going to transition, and we can go ahead and start to wrap the show up here so we can send Matt off into getting his work done pregame. Let's go around the horn, and let's do MVP for the game for Louisville, and then we will put together our final against the spread predictions of the year. Keith, I think that we have we're done, right? Like you're determined the loser, right? No matter what happens. Okay, so today is just for fun, just like the bowl game. Look at that, man.
Just for fun.
Just for
and
fun.
Nobody hit the portal. Look at us.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. We'll go around MVPs.
Yes. I have 5 days,
and then we'll do against the spread.
Yeah, Keith's gonna hit the portal, so he doesn't have to do the
combine drills, baby.
Yeah, the combine drills.
The combine drills. I will be working on getting all that set up for us, by the way. So we'll be getting that here soon and getting the video out for the world to see as your punishment. You look, man. You did it. I understood your philosophy against Austin Peay, but you really got off on a wrong foot with that one, trying to flex your principles of they're never going to cover week 1.
Honestly, I took a beating that week. Like so many teams covered massive point spreads. I don't get it. Well, actually, just the haves and have-nots. The gap's widening, I guess. So might have to reevaluate that philosophy in years to come.
Yes, your strategy definitely was exposed. So we'll go around the horn here. We'll go MVP, and then we'll do against the spread predictions. So I'm just going to go based off of who is to my right here. So that is Matt McGavick. Matt, would you like to give us your game MVP for the day, please?
I'm going to go with the obvious one. I mean, you're going to give Isaac Brown a ton of carries. He should be able to find pay dirt a few times against this Washington front seven. I'm going to go with him as the MVP, and I'm going to go Louisville wins and covers. Oh, wait, no, they're to the underdog.
Yeah.
Never mind. I
Right.
forgot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
I forgot.
You're
That's the
taking
thing,
that
that-
Cards money line, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cards money line. Yeah,
Which
And-
actually,
Yes.
sorry,
good-
didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's great.
There
I
was
was
one
gonna go to
last
that.
chat I had highlighted. There
Uh-huh.
was one who was asking why the line was moving so much. Any personnel wise, we don't know.
I
Thank you,
actually
Doug, for
checked
chiming that in.
DraftKings, and 52% of the money, no, 52% of the bets are on Louisville, but the majority of the money is on Washington's. And with betting, like you can only bet so much money like per day. So like once it resets, like today, like all the big time money, like bettors who kind of wait until they have a full grasp of who is actually going to play. They're just dumping all of their money. So that's why the line moved so sharply today. So I don't think it's a personnel thing. I think it's just the cappers, like the one commenter said, like the cappers who are just waiting until like right before to bet.
Right.
So that's what I think it is.
Yeah, that's great. Isaac Martin says if Ramon Purrier scores, Vince should eat a whole box of Frosted Flakes. I am here for that, man.
Yeah.
I will eat one if he doesn't score. Frosted
Deal.
Flakes are
There
All
we
right,
go.
Isaac. If he scores, I will eat a whole box of Frosted Flakes.
I will join him.
You could just sit eating the box while you're watching me do cone drills.
Yeah.
All right, Isaac.
That's
I
what the
got
people
you.
need.
You have to go. You have to be there, Isaac. That's the caveat to this.
Yeah. All right.
So-
Keith, what we got? We're up to you next. MVP and against the spread. And folks, drop the if you've got an MVP, if you've got some bets, throw those in here, man. We're more than happy
hop
to share
on
those out
in.
here.
Yeah, get on in. MVP. It won't happen because the game never does it. I'm going to say O-line will be the personal MVP.
Okay.
We'll go Duke Watson. I think he'll have probably less touches than Isaac Brown, but he's explosive, man. He could break one or two, really blow something up. So we'll go Duke Watson for MVP. Key to the game. Hope they weren't out too late the previous nights trying to win the heart of the Sun Queen, who was at all the Sun Bowl activities.
Yeah, it can't be. It's a basketball reference, but can't be Umar Ballo.
Omar
out here,
Ballo,
man.
yeah.
Can't be doing that today.
So far, Matt hasn't broken any stories of any players being detained across the border. So I don't think they've been too wild about it. I hope they've been taking this like a business trip. So treat the bowl game like a game and not like a treat. And yeah, that's what I'll go. And score, I think both teams are going to probably let the play clock run to just try and keep things moving along. I'll say 24-17.
As
Yeah,
somebody
I like
that never had to worry about actually playing in a bowl game, I treated it like a treat every time I was there. I love bowl trips. They are the best. Music City Bowl in 19, which I was on staff for that one, had a little bit more responsibilities, but that was my favorite by far, bowl trip. For me, MVP, or the TT MVP, as some would call it, Tony the Tiger MVP, Harrison Bailey, going for it. I'm going.
I like
for
it, man.
Kid. I think he's going to step up, make the plays he's supposed to make. I think he'll have an efficient day based off the plays that Jeff's going to be running. And, Isaac Brown would be the easy cop-out for that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
deciding to go with Harrison.
Yeah. Well,
What else do we have?
and what against the spread? What you got? Oh, go ahead, Keith. Sorry, I don't know where we're going here. Whoever wants to answer first, just say it.
As a not cop out for MVP, if we're not going to go running back, T-Mac. Let's just say he causes 2 turnovers, maybe
That'd be
like a forced fumble and an INT, something like that.
say.
Go crazy. You can say Stanquan. Say okay. I'll say Stanquan.
Okay, that's
Name reason.
what I was going to say next, man. All right. See you guys later.
It'll slide out of the team. I think
Yeah.
we cover. I think we actually win by like two touchdowns. I'll say.
I like it. I like it.
I think we win 2 touchdowns. What else?
Yeah, that's it. Game MVP. I think I was going to go with T-Mac. I think he's going to have a forced fumble and an interception today. So I'll go with him. My personal MVP is going to be whoever the Dwayne Martin, Ramon Purrier, Chris, whoever that guy is that catches the touchdown. That I could say a name and I'd sound freaking ridiculous. Like it's gonna. I think there's going to be a moment like that.
For sure.
But if it's not T-Mac, I would go with Blue Hicks. I think he's a guy today that we're going to see emerge, and he didn't portal. I thought he might, but I think that he is going to be the guy to watch today. And I'll say Blue Hicks over and over and over again until he does it. So we'll be back next year with more Blue Hicks takes. And then I think Louisville plus 1.5. I would take that all day. I don't think you need to go money line. I think Louisville's going to win this game by at least 7 points, maybe 10. I think it's going to be low scoring. Washington hasn't put up a ton of points this year in a lot of games with Louisville's offense. I think they're going to try to establish the clock, ground and pound. It's about capitalizing in the red zone. They've struggled with that at times, so field goals are probably going to creep in here, as Brock Trevell said, going to hit those. We'll see. But that's where I'm at. I think Louisville covers. But it's going to be a close game, and it's going to be – I hope it's a fun game. That's what I want, just a fun game. If we get – like I mentioned this, Keith, when you were in the shadow realm, but if we get a freaking 12-5 or a 15-12, I'm turning the game off, man.
If we get a 12-5 game, I'm going to be levitating.
That's what we said.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Right. Keith, tuck it in, man. We don't need to see it. Tuck it in, Keith. But no, I think hopefully we'll get some touchdowns because of the running backs at least.
Yeah.
So this commenter actually has a good point about how a lot of how the line shifted so quickly. They said it might be because the ACC is 1-9.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Honestly, man. I texted you guys earlier in the week, and I'm just like,
You might be right.
It has been rough go for I think we got to kick UNC out of the conference. Like, you lose to UConn, man.
They
you gotta
just
go.
started dumping money in the program, man. No, we can't get rid of them now. They
them
finally got the boosters to open up the checkbook.
Yeah,
Kick them out. Kick Duke.
yeah.
Kick
Let's
Duke out.
switch. No. Just for a year, bring UConn into the ACC and
We
let
should do
UNC
that
go
anyway.
Yeah.
We can't
Relegation.
win the conference.
into basketball.
That just
Side of that
makes
would be very
sense.
happy. It would.
Yeah.
All right.
We
Well,
need UConn.
Well, boys, before you close out, Jacob, I just want to say it's been a great football season covering the Cards with you guys. Appreciate everyone listening.
Yep.
It's been an extremely fun year with a ton of growth. Keith, you've been a pure, blessing to the show with how much you've been able to do in the editing and everything. So we definitely appreciate you joining the team and everything. Looking forward to 25 with the boys. Football season never stops, as we like to say around here.
That's right. I've already
Yeah.
talked to a couple of guys on the team who will be wrapping up their eligibility today. Expect some guests joining us over the next couple of weeks, and then we'll get into our typical postseason content where we look at offense, defense, special teams, bring on some guests.
Freakies?
Hopefully, yeah, we might do freakies. I don't know, man. It's been a couple of years since I've done that.
No, we
last
did
one was
last
such a-
year, didn't we?
No.
Yeah.
It's been since Sats last year, I think, since we've done it. So
I can still
Yeah.
call Brewski, get him on the phone, get a couple.
the Brahmies. No, I got to switch it to the Brahmies.
Oh,
man.
the
That-
Brahmies.
Yeah,
I
the
like
Brahmies.
it.
So it's gonna. Yeah, I echo everything you say, man. It's been a fantastic year. The football has been fun. It's really funny to think back on week 2 where Keith was ready to fire the coach and see where we're at now. I think the line was he's lost every bit of goodwill that's been built up after they beat Jacksonville State by like 24.
It was
So
not Jacksonville State. It was after,
It's probably Georgia Tech.
I think it was
And
Stanford.
then Jacksonville
No, it
State
was
turned
earlier.
out to be kind of
No, really good. Right. And getting Rich Rod back to
I was
West
the
Virginia.
one telling people Jacksonville State was good.
No, I know, but my point is, it's the year is really a roller coaster, week to week. When you cover the team like we do, and the emotions of the show really depend on winning and losing, it makes for a lot of good content. So it's been a great year. Can't thank you all enough. 2 episodes a week has been a big undertaking for our team, but you all, in terms of listeners, watchers, we've seen, like Vince said, record growth in numbers, and we're expecting a big 2025. So thank you all so much. Enjoy today. Hopefully we're going to see a W. Make sure you click on all of Matt's articles, like all of his live tweets. Make sure you engage with him. He's certainly not going to engage back, at least with me. With me in particular. I actually saw a couple weeks ago that I tweeted at Matt. He didn't interact with the tweet, but somebody else tweeted at him, and he commented back on that tweet. I'm like,
Oh, man.
what's it called? You just screened my tweet. Like, you definitely saw
I
it.
don't remember that.
It was one of the ones where you got put in the background of something. I don't remember what it was exactly, but yeah, it's been a great year. I'm really looking forward to it, and we'll get out of here on that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at The State of Lou. Follow us at Pink Seeds Pod and at The State of Lou on Twitter, and we will catch you all in 2025. It's incredible to say, but until then, ladies and gentlemen, go Cards.